All right. I'd like to call this meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is the oath of office for our new provincial appointee, Mr. Jeffrey K. Lashaway. Lindsay, would you like to?
Yep, through you, Chair. Jeffrey has the oath that he'll make now, and then we'll swear it electronically. So he's gonna say his oath now, Mr. Lashaway, when you're ready.
Thank you. I, Jeffrey Keith Lashaway of the town of Prescott, do solemnly swear that I will be loyal to Canada, that I will uphold the Constitution of Canada, and that I will, to the best of my ability, discharge my duties as a member of the Prescott Police Services Board faithfully, impartially, and according to the Police Services Act 1990, any other act, any regulation, rule, or bylaw, so help me God.
And this has been sworn before us on the 23rd day of September 2021 at the town of Prescott in the province of Ontario.
Excellent. Welcome aboard.
Welcome, Jeff, and sorry for those technical issues earlier this morning. I swear that that usually doesn't happen. We're usually all pretty working smoothly here. So welcome and congratulations.
Thank you. This is my first Zoom, so this is all new to me.
Well, you're already doing better than Stan, so there's applause.
Well, that's one good reason why you can't see me. All right. After all that, we have a chance to look at the agenda, and it's recommended that the agenda for the Police Services Board meeting of September 23rd, 2021 be accepted as presented. Could I have somebody move that? Mike, seconded. Jeffrey? It's approved. Are there any declarations of interest?
You do have to call the vote, Mr. Chair.
Oh, sorry. All those in favor? It's moved. So moved. Thank you for that. It's been a while. Any declarations of interest? There are no presentations that we know of. There are no delegations. You've had a chance to look over the minutes. Are there any errors, additions, omissions? So it's recommended that the Police Services Board minutes dated June 24th, 2021 be accepted. Could I, as presented, could I have somebody move, please? Jeffrey Lashaway, seconded. Have someone second, please? Mike Ostrander. All those in favor? Motion is passed. Now down to communications and petitions. Anything under action items or information items? No, then we'll move on to the police report, police service report for June to August. Joshua?
Yep. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome, Mr. Lashaway, to your first meeting. So thank you for taking on this task. Lindsay, did you want to share the report, or does everybody has a copy of the report?
Everyone should have a copy, but if you'd like me to put on the screen, I can do that. It's just going to take me a couple seconds to get it up. So it's up to the board.
If everybody has a copy of the report, I'm happy to go through it ad hoc here. So the report does constitute the months of June and August. So it's going to be a combination of the last or that 60-day period or so. When we look at our violent crime rates, for the most part, we are trending downwards. We did have an uptick in sexual assaults. So in the same time period in 2020, there was 2 reported sexual assaults, whereas in this time period, there was 4. So we've seen a 100% increase in the same time period. However, year to date, We are down 25% in our reported sexual assault. So year to date, the crimes are trending downwards in all violent categories. During this month, we've had 7 assaults and 4 crimes against other crimes against persons, which is your uttering threats types offenses where they're threatening either bodily harm or property damage to people. For the most part, we are down. In this same time period last year, we had 21 reported violent crimes, whereas in this reporting period this year, 2021, we've only had 15 reported violent crimes. So we're down 28.6% from the same time period last year. And overall, year to date, we're down 25% in our violent crime reporting in the town of Prescott. So last year, year to date, we had 56 reported violent crimes, and this year we've only got 42 reported crimes. So that's a positive downward trend and something that I'm hoping we're going to continue to see. When we go down to the property crime category, again, everything is trending downwards. Except for our frauds. We have seen provincially an increase in frauds with our Canada Revenue frauds, our elderly frauds, and all those kinds of things. So those are something that the OPP is very cognizant about, and we are doing a lot of public education on fraud prevention. We actually locally have an officer dedicated to fraud investigations here to ensure that anybody who's victimized in this category is going to be dealt with accordingly and make sure they have the proper investigative excellence going on there. So in terms of our thefts, that's where I've seen a pretty good decrease. Last year in this time period, we had 29 thefts under, which is your typical car hopping, minor shoplifting offenses, those kinds of things. This same time period, we've had 16 for a decrease in 44%. Overall, our property crimes have reduced by 32%, down from 50 last year to 34 this year. And overall, it's a similar decrease. Year to date, we're down 30% in our property crime offenses. And one of the biggest areas is going to be our theft unders, so our minor theft offenses, which are definitely a common nuisance to the public. We're down year to date from 58 to 26. So that's a pretty good decrease. When we go down to drug crime, our possession charges stayed the same. Our trafficking charges are down. So last year during the June and July, August, we ended up arresting 3 traffickers. During this same time period, we only ended up arresting 1 trafficker. So we've seen a reduction in 66%. Overall, there's a 40% reduction in drug crimes, and year to date, a 50% reduction in drug crimes, pardon me. When we go to the next page, which talks about our clearance rates, we're going to start with violent crimes. In 2020, for the June and July period, we were at a 71.4% clearance rate. This same time period, we're trending at 60% for an 11% decrease. Our property crimes last year were at 16% for this time period. We're currently sitting at 11.8% for a 4.2% decrease. And our drug crimes are sitting at 100% solve rate. Overall, we've seen an 8.5% decrease in our solve rates for the months of June and August from the same time period last year. That figure will change, especially in the property crime category. As we continue to investigate crimes and solve them, you'll see our year-to-date numbers will reflect what the current actual solve rates are. So what I like to take a look at is more so where our current year-to-date stats sit. And we are at a 64.3% solve rate for violent crimes, a 21% solve rate for property crimes, and overall a 71% solve rate for our drug crimes. So same time period last year, we're down 3.8%, but I expect that number to increase as we continue to investigate these crimes and solve them. Going to the next page of the police service report. During the months of June to August, We've had no public complaints, so no policy, service, or conduct complaints against our officers. In terms of the intelligent-led policing crime abatement strategy, we have 7 offenders who are currently in our crime abatement strategy program. So those are offenders who have been released on strict court conditions back into the community with conditions that they must abide by, that the police are following up to ensure they are following those conditions. During this time period, we did charge one of those offenders with one violation of their release conditions. And we conducted 38 compliance checks on those 7 offenders. Going down to our patrol hours, we had a total of 397.5 cruiser patrol hours, half an hour of marine patrol, and 87.5 hours of foot patrol in the town of Prescott. In terms of detachment initiatives, we had 4 targeted media releases during this period on various investigations that were completed within the town of Prescott. We had 5 tweets on social media throughout this period. 2 tweets were regarding foot patrol in the community in August 2021, where we had a foot patrol challenge, an ad hoc foot patrol challenge going on amongst our platoons to get to increase our community engagement. In terms of crime and traffic campaigns, we participated in 2 provincial campaigns, notably the Canada Day Traffic Campaign, as well as the Civic Day Traffic Campaign. We fully participated and we yielded good results to increase motorist safety. In terms of public engagement in June, our mobile crisis response team officer, Constable Dave Holmes, and our registered nurse introduced Bylaw Manager Sean Merriman to our MCERT program with the OPP. So we got good response and partnerships with the town of Prescott on that program. And safeguard was offered for a break and enter that occurred. There was one break and enter during this reporting period, but it was not accepted at this time. So when I go to the call for service billing summary, I'm just going to go down to the last page, which talks about our year-to-date billable hours. So in 2020, for this same time period, our billable hours were at 5,134 hours. We've seen a downward, with our crimes reducing, we've seen that trend downwards. And currently we're sitting at 4,265 hours for weighted hours. Subject to any questions, that's the police service report.
Are there any questions?
Just a quick comment, Stan. I just wanted to thank the inspector again for such great work with the derailment, great communication, great work on all the officers here. Just an incredible job all the way around. The OBP did to help secure the scene, that investigation, which I believe is still ongoing, of course. But everything about that was so well handled. Just hats off to everybody at the detachment. Josh, you were there on scene right away. It was just excellent. I mean, it was the kind of thing that it was so concerning and so worrying as soon as you hear about train derailment. But then when I got on scene, you guys had everything so well controlled. With, of course, our fire department doing an excellent job, and they everything was just so good that day. So I did just want to reiterate that again. Thanks so much from the municipality as a whole for that great job that day.
It was definitely a great partnership with fire, EMS, police. Everybody knew their part and did their part flawlessly in this circumstance. It was the best of a bad day for sure.
Yeah, we sure lucked out in a few areas there with the overpass, the gas line, and of course, most importantly at all, no casualties. And
exactly.
We really lucked out on that one. And I also wanted to thank you for the foot patrols and everything downtown through the summer. Had some good presence down through the beach area, through the entire downtown, the harbor. It was definitely well noted. And I happened to be down there that day that I think it was Officer Kelso and a couple others came through with the freezies for the kids. Yep. really well received. And it's a good way to get the word out there as well. You know, without really making a show of the presence, a nice friendly presence, so people are aware that you guys are around, because I think that was right after we had that one altercation down there that night, which was also very well responded to quickly by the detachment, and diffused quite well there too. So I think it was a really good summer overall for all of us here in town, and your presence in the downtown, I think, was much appreciated. So thanks so much for what you did there this summer overall.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? All right, then, and it's recommended that the police service report June to August 2021 be accepted as presented. Have somebody move, please? Brett Todd, second. Mike Ostrander. All those in favor? And it is passed. Thank you, Joshua. We have the bylaw enforcement report. We've looked at that. There's no need to. Is there any concerns or questions?
Are you there, Stan?
Yes.
Okay, no, I was just making sure I had two different things open on the phone and I was trying to switch over not very well. So does
okay.
anyone have any
there,
questions
so-
about my report? So, oh, okay. So it was a great month, in all honesty, for August. It really went well. We got the new officer on, and again, same thing that the mayor said earlier, the OPP worked hand in hand with us flawlessly all summer. They helped with numerous things, and I can't stress our thanks enough for their help.
Great. Moving on then to old business. Anything under old business? Going once. All right. Anything under new business?
Stan, just a quick one, if I may, through
Yes.
you to Sean. We did have some discussion sort of offline a little while ago about taxi inspections in town. And that does run through PSB. So I was just curious, like, are we going to see something back there at some point just regarding the results of the inspections and what's been done there and is being done?
Yeah, all three taxi companies had random inspections of all their cabs. The one was given a citation or a notice to repair a rear window that was broken. And then the rest of them all were fine at the time we inspected them anyways, because we'd had received some concerns that some of them were not, I guess word would be maintained as well as we would have liked. But I got a feeling once we did the first one or two inspections and people realized we were coming at some point, that they got them all in great shape. And I must say that we did end up inspecting all the taxis during the month of August as well. So
thanks, thanks very much, Sean. Could we actually get just a little report on that at the next meeting? Just because it's something we don't touch on often enough here, and I think it's something that's kind of the group doesn't overall. It's not something that comes before us regular, and not to say that it should, but even once a year or so, just as an update on that, how things are going, because it is something we do hear about in town. I'm sure Mike's heard the comments, and I do as well. So it's good to be able to say that they've been inspected and they're safe and orderly vehicles. Just a little
not a problem.
If the chair is okay with that, I'd like to.
Yeah, we used to. We always did get at least a yearly report. Yeah, that's a good idea. Anything else?
Thanks, Sean.
No problem.
No. Anything under new business again? I have a question, probably directed to Sean or the inspector. The mobility scooters that people are using, are they to be on the road or use the sidewalk? Because I've seen, especially at the overpass, there's a lot of traffic buildup, and I'm not saying that that's wrong, but somebody might get hurt on these scooters, somebody being impatient or whatever. Is there, I know we had an issue with this, what was it, previous, wasn't it?
So I can speak to that, Mr. Chair, a little bit. There's two categories I'm going to talk about. Personal mobility scooters, which are the typical four-wheeled devices that people use that have walking issues or mobility issues. Those are to be treated like no different than a pedestrian. So they're supposed to be going against traffic on the sidewalks and follow pedestrian laws. The electronic bikes, which we're seeing an increase in use in the town of Prescott and in all communities in Ontario, are to be treated like a bicycle. An electric bike, you have to be 16 years old, you have to wear a helmet, and it has to meet certain speed requirements. Otherwise, it falls into the category of a limited speed motorcycle. And then licensing, insurance, and license plate rules do follow. For the most part, if it's self-propelled, so if it's got pedals and it's under the speed of, I believe, 32 kilometers per hour, maximum speed on a straight stretch, then it's going to fall into the category of an electric bicycle, and it does need to follow typical motor vehicle rules. So it can occupy a lane. It has to use arm signals for making left and right hand turns, or if the bicycle is equipped with blinkers, then it has to follow the rules of the road, stop at stop signs and all those kinds of things. We have been stopping them to ensure compliance with the provincial regulations, and so far so good. There has been a couple of homemade ones which we've taken off the road, or we've not taken them off the road, but we've forced the driver to walk the vehicle home and issued charges accordingly. So, but for the most part, they are allowed on the road, and they do have to follow bicycle or motor vehicle rules.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about the mobility scooters, the four-wheel ones.
Yeah.
It seems that they're always on the road.
They should be on the sidewalk, no different. They're treated as pedestrians when it comes to use of sidewalks and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay. Is there anything else under new business? No. The PSB public service announcement. Are we going to go with the same one again, or are we going to have a new category? Any ideas? Lindsay?
Through you, Chair, I'm not quite sure if the OPP have a focus for the month, if there's something they'd like us to share or work with them on.
Stand by for one quick second. I'll just double check if we've got a priority this month.
Or if the board chooses, Joshua and I can kind of connect offline to support whatever their focus is this month as well.
The scooter topic that Stan just raised wouldn't be a bad idea for public education. We've done that in the past as well, because we've had issues with people. And Mike, you'd remember the Churchill Road, wasn't it? That the biggest issue, we had people right in the middle of the street, and so we've focused on that in the past. Could do something like that again.
And again, as I said, I've seen at least 3 times people on the overpass with those scooters, and yeah, that creates a problem going and coming. So
yeah, that would be a good topic to discuss if it is becoming a traffic issue.
okay, let's go with that then. I guess all that's left is, unless anyone has any other input or concerns.
Stan, I just wanted to welcome Jeffrey again this morning, and just, I don't know what the orientation is, but if you have any questions, comments, reach out to myself or any of us, and happy to answer any questions, and don't want you to leave you it's not that much to take in, but it can be a little overwhelming, some of the stats and how we track, how everything's tracked for the billing formula and the calls. But if you ever need anything at all, I'm happy to answer any questions. All of us are, I'm sure. So again, welcome aboard. And if there's anything we can do to answer anything, please let us know.
That's it. Steal my thunder.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I guess the next thing is just adjournment. And have we aimed at what was the date we were looking at? October 21st for the next meeting? Or was it the 28th? Lindsay?
Through you, Chair, I believe we've been doing that third week, but if
Okay.
the 28th works better for the board, that staff is free either day.
Is the 21st okay with everybody?
Good for me.
Sounds good.
Okay, so the 21st it is. All right, then we have adjournment. It's recommended that the meeting adjourn to October 21st at 8:30 a.m. All those in favor? It's carried. And the time is 9 a.m.
Sorry, Chair, did I have a mover and a seconder for that motion to adjourn?
Of course. Could we have I gotta start reading my cheat sheets again. Could I have someone move for adjournment? Mike Ostrander seconded.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Yep. All those in favor? It's passed. So it's recommended, and the meeting is adjourned to October 21st, 9 a.m. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great.
Thanks, folks. Take care. Have a great day.
Thanks,
Yeah.
everybody.